World Health Organization estimates that some 36 to 44 million people living today are infected with HIV. Already, 32 million have died, and sub-Saharan Africa still remains the most affected, accounting for about 2/3 of all those living with the disease. It's been 38 years since the first HIV case was recorded in Germany, and yet there's no cure in sight. Already, there are talks about the disease even mutating into a more difficult to control variant, which the scientists are calling Stage 3 HIV. But there seems to be a glimmer of hope emerging in Ghana, where one research scientist has developed a herbal food supplement which effectively manages the HIV virus and the associated diseases of the kidney and liver. Scientist we are talking about is Professor Samuel Duncan, who is our guest today. Thank you so much, Prof, for this opportunity. Indeed, we are grateful.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Now, let's begin this whole conversation with your major breakthrough in terms of research, and it has to do with QuaFS. What inspired you to go in search of this magical drug, if I should put it?
Okay, thank you very much, Gifty. I think I'm passionate about finding solutions to problems that the world has no answers to. So we're working with Ghana's Commission. My institution, the Center for Awareness Global Peace Mission, was working with Ghana's Commission since 2002. And we're caring for people living with HIV. We're receiving support from Ghana's Commission for advocacy and caring for people living with HIV. So 2003, there was one lady that's out of the 53 patients who died out of her hands. This lady called Mercy was on her sick bed, passing through 30 times in a day.
That's way too much.
Yes, and the last statement I recollect that made me weep at that time was, this sickness called HIV/AIDS is too painful and nobody should contract it. And I could see the pains in her eyes. Actually, I wept myself, and I asked myself, can there be solution
to this problem?
To this problem called HIV/AIDS? Well, to me, to every problem there is a solution.
Exactly.
Where a problem cannot be solved, it means the requisite knowledge out of which the solution could be drawn has not yet been acquired. But I have the knowledge for this particular
disease.
Yeah.
So before you went in search of a cure, kind of, what was your perception about the disease?
Scientists made me to understand that there is no cure for HIV because of the nature of the virus. The viruses, when you target the virus in the bloodstream, you can destroy it in the bloodstream, free circulating blood. But when the virus gets into the cell and the tissues, there is no way you can kill it.
And that is where the virus is.
Yeah, that's where the virus creates bunkers around themselves, so nothing goes in there.
Okay.
So once you are trying to kill the virus, you destroy the cell. You see,
and that is the immune system.
The immune system.
Okay.
So once you destroy the cell, then it means that you destroy the human being, or they live in the DNA.
Yeah.
So I was then going to look for something that can get the viruses out of their hideouts so that they can be killed. So that was actually my aim of research, because there came an antiretroviral drugs in circulation that could possibly get the viruses in the free circulating blood. But those hiding in the cells and tissues,
you couldn't target them.
Yes, that was the problem. I mean, it has remained a problem up to today.
Till today.
Yes. And so that was what actually made me go into that sort
kind of research.
So, and I think on the 2005, specifically 30th November, I initiated a project dubbed Global Peace Mission and Eradication of HIV/AIDS Program. But my main mission, that's the Center for Awareness, is targeting global peace. So I have a mission, that's the Global Peace Mission. That's the main agenda of my NGO.
Okay.
Then we added eradication of HIV/AIDS. Because I feel that HIV must be eradicated. If we don't take care, it will sweep all of us. Because of its nature. The more you try to destroy it, the more complex it becomes.
Mutate into something else.
Yes. So if you don't take care, time will come where there will be nothing that can destroy that virus called HIV. And that's going to be very serious. Remember, I think malaria, initially we were treating malaria with chloroquine, lidocaine, and others. The malaria parasite grew resistance to this particular, and it was very difficult for us to treat malaria
with chloroquine
and lidocaine. And it took World Health Organization hectic time to come up with this combined therapy, the artemisinin-based therapy, and then now it is accepted. Imagine this malaria. Imagine if that happens to HIV. You get it? Yes. If it grows resistance, then it means we are in.
I've even heard of talks about HIV type 3. HIV type 3. That if we are not careful, that is the next stage we are going, because already we have HIV type 1 and 2.
Yes.
So if we are not careful, we can't be recording type 3.
Yes.
That's interesting. Now, let's look at your research work in its totality. How many times did you have to do what you did in order to get the final result, which is the QuaFS?
QuaFS is not the cure for HIV.
Okay.
It came up as part of the research to find cure for HIV. Because one, HIV creates immunodeficiency disorder. It destroys the immune system. So I was looking for something that could boost the immune system. That's the first step.
Okay.
Once the immune system is strong, then naturally the immune system itself can battle the virus. So in the process, the QuaFS was developed. And so now the QuaFS is not for only HIV. It is for immunodeficiency disorders. And immunodeficiency disorders gives way to over 200 diseases. Because once your immune system is compromised, then there are a lot of opportunistic infections that come in. Or your body's defense mechanism can no more fight diseases. And there's pathogens coming into the human body. So this was actually developed, and so it is not only for people living with HIV, but it's for all persons who have immunodeficiency disorders, and also control diseases that come up as a result of immunodeficiency disorder. And the cure for HIV, which actually targets the viruses living in the cells and tissues, that one is an injection, intramuscular, intravenous, that's able to smooth the viruses out of their hideout into the bloodstream so that they can be targeted and killed in the bloodstream. So that is where we've got into.
Okay.
And that's, we have not completed the research yet.
Okay.
But what's preliminary research so far, retrospective research so far, has proven
it could be promising.
Yes, it is promising. I know that I know that that will finally
and that
be
could actually cure.
That will be the cure
HIV.
for. Yeah, that will
so
be
in the
cure.
Meantime, with QuaFS, what does it do for people living with HIV
Very
AIDS?
good. What it does is, a lot of people have taken the QuaFS, and have gotten a lot of results.
Okay.
To even target not detected. That it has boosted.
Not detected.
Target not detected.
So it means the test couldn't detect the virus.
The virus
in the patient's blood. Kind of. Okay.
Yes. But there's a possibility that there's some hiding in the cells and tissues.
Okay.
That is why we cannot call it a cure.
A cure. But then
it supports the immune system. It has supported the immune system, and the immune system has naturally combated the viruses to undetectable stage.
Wow.
Yes. So this is what it can do, and we recommend it to people living with HIV to take it alongside their antiretroviral therapies.
Okay.
Yes. Just because this is just supporting the immune system, for the immune system to naturally fight
repair
against
itself.
Repair itself. That is it. So when you antiretroviral drugs, that is targeting the viruses in the bloodstream. So conjunctive therapy.
And then the Ghana AIDS Commission should have a link with you where they can combine this and then the antiretroviral for people living with HIV and AIDS, because it makes sense.
That's it. I think that discussion has started.
Okay.
I think Ghana AIDS Commission is a commission that is skeptical about, because they must know and understand beyond doubt that this and that is going to the people is going to help our patients. Okay. That's their interest. So without proper scientific data and parameter guiding the use of a product, they cannot easily just accept it.
Yeah, but I believe this has gone through the various stages of a testing to know the potency and efficacy of the food supplement.
That is that. And that is why, you see, in research it takes time.
Okay.
You get it. And that is why I was saying that initially all scientists are skeptical. Whatever you use must have a scientific data. There should be a literature guiding the use, so you know what is actually inside before you can recommend it to a patient. So I think up to now, Ghana's Commission is being well abreast with what's the research findings of the this QuaFS. And we've made it clear to them that QuaFS is not cure for HIV, but can support people living with HIV when they are taking the antiretroviral drugs.
To have a normal life.
To have a normal life, and it will improve the immune system so that the immune system can help naturally fighting the viruses, while the antiretroviral drugs can also suppress the viruses. Now, another part of the core is also it can boost your immune system to detoxify your liver.
Okay.
And it has some properties that has been able to revive kidney conditions. Some kidneys failed, yet they were brought back to life when the QuaFS supported the system.
Okay.
And now the antiretroviral drug has every drug that has chemical basis have some effects, especially when you take it for a long time.
Okay.
Yes. So once somebody should take antiretroviral drug for his lifetime, there's the need to have a booster to help the person to manage the negative effects
on the immune system.
Yes, the negative effect of the chemicals that get into the human body.
Yeah.
And the core FS will be there to support that.
To support that.
You see, and the immune system itself can mop all the poisonous substances in the system and get it out from the human body. So it is good that people living with HIV all over the world should see this as something that can support them to have a quality lifestyle.
So you're calling for a combined therapy of QIFS and then the antiretroviral drugs. Yes. That's fine. Yeah. Now, Prof, allow me enter your thought. You know, the very day you realized your research had worked, how did you feel?
I knew it was going to work.
Why?
Yes, because you know, if you know 1 + 1 is 2, you don't doubt. You see, when you know 1 + 1 is 2, you don't doubt. You only doubt
but
when.
But in research, there's no 1 + 1 kind of. You have to keep doing it over and over again till you get to a point you achieve result.
Yeah, that is what you see. I'm a researcher.
Okay.
And I'm a scientific researcher. And I do what we call divine research. When I say divine research, you go beyond the physics. Okay. Right.
So you're more physical, spiritual person.
Not spiritual.
Kind of.
We don't call it spiritual.
Okay.
God doesn't see himself as a spirit. He sees himself as real.
Okay.
You see, so
you're a realist.
Yes, kind of. I'm talking about in science. In science, we don't talk about spirituality. We talk about facts. You get it? So it's like when you enter into the internet, you have a lot of data, and all those data is man-made. What we have put there is what is there. So what man has not discovered can never be found in that data.
Prof, right? I'm sorry, we have to take our first break. When we come back, we'll talk more into your realism.
Okay.
Well, the program is Legend of Our Time on GBC News and Ghana Television. My name is Gifty AJ. My guest for today is Professor Samuel Duncan, the Chief Executive behind QIFS. We're going to take our first break. When we come back, we'll talk more. Please don't go away. Welcome back. The program is Legend of Our Time on GBC News and Ghana Television. My name is Gifty AJ, and my guest for today is Professor Samuel Duncan, and he is the Chief Executive Officer of QIFS. So back to Prof, and then we'll continue with the realism theory. So Prof, tell us, what is it about this realism philosophy that you have and you think it's behind the making of QIFS?
In science, whatever you produce must be real. So once you produce it here, it can be replicated everywhere because it is real. There are claims, and claims are not real. But when it becomes a fact, it becomes real.
Yeah.
So I was looking at something real. You get it? So if I was doing a research and I needed the realities of things. Now, in science, when you go beyond the physics, you can just switch off your television, you'll not see anything, you'll be here, and there will be some communication, which means something actually happened without
that goes beyond the human eye.
Beyond the human eye, but it's a science. Do you get it? It is not spiritual things. You see, so that is what I call the... so you go beyond the physics and come out with the realities, right? Now, in the divine law, of which I am master of, has all the data. Everything that is in this world is actually there, stopped up. But have to have access to it, that's the problem. So I was looking for something that has the potential
to cure
HIV/AIDS, to kill HIV, and also has the potential to improve the immune system to resist a lot of diseases, yes, and also cure a lot of diseases the world has no access to, right? Yeah, so I bounce on the formula, because that is why I said when I got to know the formula, because in that data everything is real. Yes, with God everything is real. You see, it is in sign that we have plus or minus. You get it, but when you get there, it is not plus or minus. If it is 1, it is 1. If it's 2, it is 2.
So, Prof, if that's the case, why is it that a lot of these pharmaceutical companies with the human experts and all that are not able to chance upon this formula you're talking about?
Yes, that is why I'm saying I'm coming with a different way of research.
So how would you term your kind of research? The Duncan research, or how would you?
To me, my research has been an independent research, independent scientific research. Because it is like you have to be trained by a researcher to do ABC.
Exactly.
But the researcher himself doesn't know what you want. So how can he give you what you want?
Looking for.
You get it? So you have to do your own independent research. You get it? Like Bill Gates came out with a computer without being taught by anybody. You get it? He did his independent research and came out, and the world is benefiting. So this is what I call the independent research. You get it? Yes. It is not there, and you try to...
So let me go back to my previous question. The answer wasn't too convincing. So the very first day you realized how did you know your research had worked? Did you give it to somebody? How was it? I want to know.
Oh, okay.
And how did you feel?
Yeah, I felt good. Because when I discovered that has that potential, I communicated it to Ghana's Commissioner of 2006.
No, but did you give it to somebody who was suffering from HIV and the person recovered?
Yes.
Yeah. What really happened before you contacted its commission?
Very good. I did not give it before I contacted.
You might have tested it on somebody.
No, when I had the formula, I had my own way of testing it.
Okay.
So I tested it.
Okay.
And I saw that it could.
How did you do it?
In science, when you get to the laboratory, if you want to test a formula against HIV, you put HIV in a test tube, and you apply the formula or the concoction or whatever, and see how it works. You get it? You do that first before you move to other. So that is what I did first.
Okay.
So I got to know that it has that
potency.
Activity against the virus.
Okay.
So I communicated it to them that this is very expensive and it has to go through processes. You see, and Professor Sichema never believed it initially. I said, oh, but something, you see, you have to. I said, no, then let me prove it to you. So I gave it to about 10 patients.
Okay.
10 patients. At that time, there were no antiretroviral drugs that was 2006. There were no antiretroviral drugs at the regional hospital, Cape Coast. So all those 10 people were very weak and they could not walk and a whole lot. So they agreed to test because how do I lose? If I test and survive, fine. If I test and don't survive, I die the same way.
Exactly.
You see, so within 1 month, the result was fantastic. They could walk and they could do their normal this, and it was like a miracle. And some even thought that it was a holy water. They thought that it was water that I prayed over, and I said, no.
Interesting.
I'm doing science. It is not a holy water. It is a product that I have actually discovered. You see, but it looks like water because I just took the active ingredient I wanted from the leaves. You see,
so how many components are
about
there?
161 organic compounds.
And it looks like water.
It looks like water.
Wow.
Yes. You get it, yes. And so what happened? Even brought, we entered into MOU, Gucci Memorandum for Medical Research by Chemistry Department of UCC and Central Regional Hospital. Yeah, so we came together, let's further this sort of research and see what will come out from there. Unfortunately, we couldn't have funds to continue, so the other scientists just, if there's no money to, then let us just. But I continue with the research.
Where did you get the money from?
Oh, from friends and from my own pocket and that sort of thing. So I went to Mampong, because Mampong is already established institution into plant medicine. Yeah, so I wanted them to do the safety aspect, because before you test, you develop any medicine, the safety should be the first. Yeah, so we did the safety test.
And it's passed.
And it's passed this test. And that was the time they were able to see a particular organic compound in there called the triterpenes.
Okay.
Yes, and the triterpenes has a lot of potentials. It can kill the viruses, it can work against diabetes, it can work against cancer, it can work against. So that was the time they believed that no, then it means something current can emerge out of this because of just the presence of the triterpenes. Now, after proper analysis, KwaZulu-Natal University
in South
Africa also was able to isolate.
Further research.
Yes, further research on it, reviewed 161 organic compounds, 160 in addition to the triterpenes. And the triterpenes alone is a wonderful phytochemical. You get it? So coupled with this number of compounds, that was where they said, no, then this is a miraculous drug, because they saw it as water. Yes, there's something inside. Yes. You see, yes, 161 organic compounds means that we can even isolate about 100 medicines
from the food supplement.
The food supplement. Because if you're able to isolate all the compounds, then if we know that this compound is responsible for viruses, then it means we can increase that compound in one and call it a cure for viral infections. Then if this compound is responsible for diabetes, then we can increase it and just, you see, so at the end of it all, they started studying because it was working against cancers.
During the Ebola crisis, it was used. It
was used in Sierra Leone.
Okay.
And we had about 30 people cured of Ebola.
From
KOA-FS.
Wow.
And the deputy minister said he didn't see why 4,000 people had to die while KOA was there, KOA-FS was there.
He didn't go there early?
No, he came for the product. Okay. And I was not in Sierra Leone. And that time the KOA-FS had not been registered.
Oh, okay.
Do you get it?
Still under
research. Yes.
Kind of.
And the miracles that it was performing led him to some few cartons to Sierra Leone to be tested on people. And it was working. Then this Ebola came, and he himself was on it, and people were quarantined that they were going to die. Because about 21 people. He said, no, why don't you try this? Because I know that it can build the immune system and to fight the viruses. Then all those who lived on the core FF for the 21 days, all of them survived without any trace of Ebola. You see, so it is a miraculous product. And I call it miraculous. It is not a spiritual thing. But because of the active ingredients, yes, about 161 organic compounds. And what makes it more unique is that when you develop medicines from the laboratories chemically, you end up creating another problems in the human body because they come out with serious side effects. But this is coming from the natural source, processed scientifically without any chemical base. Not even preservative.
These are plants from Ghana. They are in Ghana.
Plants in Ghana.
The plants you are using,
they are from
our
Ghana.
backyard.
That's it. See, and Ghana can, well, it has come to stay. Well, it is going to be, it's going to be the basis for a lot of
diseases.
Yes, a lot of pharmaceutical drugs. If they get to know its potency properly.
Prof. Duncan, do you think we've given you the needed support as Ghanaians or even the government to make the Core FS story to be more appealing or successful?
I think initially I didn't get any support. And this research alone has taken me about $20 million.
Okay.
And I give credit to the president of Ghana, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, at this point where he's developing the interest to see what can be done in terms of further research to recover the true potentials of Core FS and other core products, especially the 72, which has the potential to be the cure for HIV/AIDS. So at this point, I think that the government must be must be commended for such a wonderful move. You see, I think, and to me, discoveries, research is made slowly. People only come in when they see that you are making sense. You see, especially because of its sensitive nature. HIV/AIDS. It is a whole thing. It's a problem of the world, and everybody's looking for it. Scientists all over. So when somebody comes up and say, "Oh, I have cure for HIV," then the government stands up. Yeah, Ghana has found cure for HIV. If it turns out to be
otherwise,
it becomes a serious issue that will affect the health. But for now, we have been
consistent,
able to demonstrate beyond reasonable doubt that Duncan is not claiming, but proving by credible research institutions that their research finding points to the direction that there's something that Ghana must look into it properly. Do you see? So it is no more a claim. So now
but a fact.
They are facts, right? So now the Ghana government can come in and say, okay, now let us do further work on this.
So how much will further research into the core cost us as a people if we are interested to support you?
Yeah, I think for the clinical trials, just to establish it will take about $20 million.
$20 million.
If there's the need to do what we call isolation of compounds, that is where we go into the development of drugs, where you have to do drug interaction and other things. Then it becomes more complex. And that will take us about $100 million.
So which laboratories can we use or think to be very okay for us to do further research? Are they laboratories locally here, or foreign laboratories where we can take samples to do further research into the FS?
I think Ghana has incredible scientists, researchers. So Noguchi Memorial Institute for Medical Research, which became part of this, and their results is very fantastic. In vitro revealed 80% efficacy in 12 hours.
Whoa.
Yes, so,
but that's too powerful.
Too powerful. 80% in just 12 hours, half a day. 80% of the viruses were destroyed by the product. Then the 20%, the next 12 hours cannot stand. Do you get it? That brought the term QA 72, that within 72 hours we'll be able to destroy HIV. Do you get it? So Noguchi is the Center for Plant Medicine Research, is there, which is already part of it. Noguchi, we are collaborating with them. School of Biochemistry, the Biochemistry Department, UCC, and the Medical School, UCC, are also part of us. Then we have KwaZulu-Natal University in South Africa, which is also part of this particular research. That's the School of Pharmacy. Then I'm also going to Alfred Nobel University, where I am a research professor there, and also establish a clear, a steady platform to do further research work also in Alfred Nobel University in Ukraine. So it's something that at the end of the day, it is scientists will come together and bring their findings. Whether it is true that this is the cure for HIV, of which I believe at the end of the research we are going to say we have cure for HIV. And that will be, just the clinical trial at least will cost about $20 million.
I like your optimism. But before I quickly take my next break, would you mind a collaboration with some investors to research into the product, and then finally you have that claim together? Would you mind?
Yes, of course.
Okay.
Because I have launched the Core Research Fund. The aim of that launch of that fund was to bring investors and other stakeholders together, so that at the end of the day, we say all of us have found cure for HIV. And to me, that one is something that is going to be given to World Health Organization to use it to treat all people living with HIV for free. That one is not for, but for the core FS, it's something that I've developed myself, and it is on the market, and that one,
it's your baby.
It's my baby, and that comes.
So I like the fact that you are willing to share. It means you are not a greedy person. So I'll take my next break. When I come back, we'll go personal. We'll talk about you, your childhood, education, and other stuff. So the program is Legends of Our Time on GBC News and Ghana Television. Time to take our next break, and when we come back, we'll talk more. Don't move an inch. Legends of Our Time on GBC News and Ghana Television on Legends of Our Time. We acknowledge our heroes. And today our guest is Professor Samuel Duncan, and he is the brain behind Kwa FS, the food supplement that people have even described as a magical product, So I'll go back to him and then we'll continue with our conversation. So, Prof, tell us, I learned you were born in Winneba and you actually had a cross, the sign of a cross on your forehead. How true is the story?
If this is true.
But I can't see the cross,
yes.
Prof.
I think the cross vanished after a week or two.
Of your birth?
Yes, after I was born. Because I learned it at the age of 12. My mother told me that you become a priest in the future because when you were born there was a cross on your forehead. Well, by then I was praying with some peers, and they started confessing to me that they were witches and wizards and that sort of thing. That I went to tell my mother that these people have confessed that. So, then it is true. This confirms that when you grow, you become a priest. Because when you were born, there was a cross on your forehead. Right. So, well, I didn't take it anything, but when I was in secondary school, Form 3, then I started developing some interest to do something for the world, but didn't know what actually it was. You see, so I attended Ghana National College from Takrady Secondary School to Ghana National College, Cape Coast here.
What about your elementary school?
Elementary school, Kibi. I started my primary school, Kibi. LA school. Then went to Fosu elementary school. That's Fosu Methodist. Then from there to Takrady Secondary School then to Ghana National College. So after Ghana National College, I had a scholarship to study medicine in Russia. And then later decided to study the divine law.
Which we're having the results today.
That's it. So after some time that I realized that there was some potential in me, that was the time it dawned on me that go back to your mother and ask your mother what actually happened at your birth. So I
Is
went.
she still alive?
No, my mother is dead. Yes.
Too bad.
Both of them, they are all late. So when I went was when my mother told me that when I was in her womb, she was seriously sick, and my father rejected me and her as well.
Seriously?
Yes, and when I was born, my father came there 3 days after that, and he came to see a mark of cross on my forehead. So my father asked my mother, what is this? He said, oh, it was there when I gave birth to him. It has been there since. So they took me as they kept in their hearts, but they took me as a special child. Until
specially?
I was not treated special anyway.
How many siblings do you have?
5. I think 5 from one father, one mother, and other 3 from my father. Yeah, so I would say about 8 siblings. Yes.
So you knew from day one that there was something special about you, that you're going to do something special for the world.
Yes.
And it has really come to pass.
Yeah, so I think it was after when I was doing my service, that was 88 at St. Jim. Then I had opportunity to go and pray in the wilderness for God himself to open my way and to let me know why I was on earth.
Are you that spiritual?
Yes, very, very spiritual. Very, very spiritual. So when I was praying, that was on the 29th July 1988, then I came to the realization that there's nothing that God has created that's worth more than human being. So the reason why there's no peace on earth is that man has actually deviated from the love for humanity to the love of material things. So you can kill your brother for money, you don't care. You can destroy your brother, you don't care. You can implement policies that are not human-centered for your personal gains and for whatever. So that is actually the main problem the world has. That is why there's no peace on earth. So my mission is to address peace globally.
But that's too ambitious for an individual.
It is more than possible. You see, that is why the Center for Awareness Global Peace Mission targets leadership all over the world to achieve global peace. So, and this was launched on the 19th December 2018 at the International Conference Center, of which the President was a special guest of honor. And that was the time I released a white paper to the President, telling him that all that I've discovered, the potential cure for HIV that has cost me $20 million, is being given to the government of Ghana to do further research. And whatever comes out of it to support the free SHS policy and that sort of one district, one factory. Because me, I believe in Ghana, I believe in how we can improve the lives of the people. So if there are policies that are good, we have to support with whatever we can do to support. This is the time we need the intellectual property to work. We don't have anything anymore. The gold gone, the diamonds, the oil. So Ghana doesn't have much to rely on to support the economy to be self-reliant. That's Ghana beyond aid. We cannot be beyond aid unless we explore other areas that can bring in more foreign exchange to enrich the economy for proper implementation of.
Professor Duncan, we are about wrapping up. So what is going to be the next major thing in your stable?
I think I've made it clear before at a different platform that my research for finding potential cure for HIV/AIDS and discovering this miraculous product is just a tip of the iceberg.
Really?
Yeah, yes. Well, the 30 years of my research, you have no idea what I'm bringing to.
Give us a hint. What are you bringing out? Give us a hint.
Oh, I think that would be lying, but if I should give you a hint.
I want an exclusive.
Exclusive.
Yes.
Let me give you a short background of what divine research is about. You know, we have a lot of billions of planets. We have a lot of galaxies, of which a galaxy is one out of it. And within the galaxy, we have 8 planets, a sun, and a lot of stars. All the planets going around the same sun. When were they formed? And what are their characteristics? You see, so that will tell you that there are more to study about life, right? Yes. And science have not been able to give a clear picture of what is actually happening in the space, of which it can affect the peace of this world. Now, the Earth did not come to where it is today
by chance.
No. It's moved periodically. Yes. Giving it about 2,000 years, it will shift. And it will shift. So it moved from the sun and gradually solidified. And that is why we have earthquake and whatever. Because the molten rock is still not solidified. Because the distance from the earth, the distance from the sun is still not
that's variance.
Yeah, yeah. So the earth needs to move a little further. Yes, to finally get the settlement. And when it goes that way, all the internet we are enjoying now will crash.
So what will you do?
That is the problem. And this is what the world should look at. So this is a different that can be discussed at a different platform. But when we are talking about global peace, we should think into 100 years, 200 years ahead of us. You see, we have to create an enabling environment for the future people.
Yeah.
So we have to think 100 years. Now, internet was just discovered in the 21st century, right?
Yeah.
And we think that is all. That is not all. And everything is now internet. Our bank account, internet. Everything being controlled by internet.
Technology.
That is it, right? And so we don't know when we should shift, when waves and radiations and everything will begin to change. The internet becomes locked and nobody can access that. And when it becomes, that is where the major challenge is. You see, but nobody is thinking about that.
But that is way into the future, Prof.
The way into the future, and the future can be today. Just about 20 minutes and 30 minutes ahead of us is future. 1 year, 2 years is future. Do you get it?
Exactly.
Yes. So there are a lot in science. So I've done a lot of work. I've done a lot of work. That is why I'm saying that
you're going to
at the
release
appropriate
them.
time, yes. And it needs a lot of, because at certain times it even be the imagination of. And it will take time for my colleague scientists to understand certain things. Yes. And they'll go with me when we start talking about the practicalities of things happening. You see, so this is about the Center for Awareness Global Peace Mission.
You know, I have so much to ask you, but my time is limited. But before we go, tell us, I've given you this platform to talk to, especially our youth. What is the big thing on your heart that you want to share with the youth to ensure that, like you're saying, our future becomes secured? It can be sanitation, it could be health, it could be any topic that you want to talk about.
I think at this point I have to advise the youth. I believe they are the future leaders, and they are growing to fill the future gaps. So we have to create an enabling environment for the future leaders. So you are the people to help us to create that enabling environment for you. Now, I'm talking about peace, and peace has a broader umbrella. Health issues, security, political, religious, and whatever. Let us all love one another. Love God with all your heart and everything. Love your neighbor as yourself, and you'll be able to address all these negative challenges. Because once you love your neighbor, you will never do anything bad to the person. With that, we can move into the future smiling. Without that, we will crash nowhere. This is what I told you.
You know, Prof, on Legends of Our Time, before I wrap up, I give my guest the opportunity to let the world know how they should be remembered many years to come. But in your case, I'm not going to ask you that particular question, because I know we'll be talking again when COA FS 72 finally becomes a reality. So thank you so much.
You're welcome,
for having us in your office. Indeed, we are so grateful. And it is our prayer that COA 72 will become a success story, and then we'll come and talk to you again. And afterwards, you give us how we should remember you many years to come. So, Prof. Duncan, thank you so much for your time.
You're welcome, my dear.
Indeed, we are so grateful.
I'm also grateful.
Good luck. All the best, Prof. We are so glad of you, and we appreciate what you are doing for Mother Ghana. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Well, the program has been Legends of Our Time on GBC News and Ghana Television. My guest for today has been Professor Samuel Duncan, and he is the brain behind the magical drug, the COA FS. We'll come your way same time next week. Until then, enjoy the rest of our programs.